My girlfriend and I are known as the broke couple. I sold my Lamborghini to swap for a shared bike for her. She rejected all the advances from rich kids for me. We both believed we had found soulmates who treated money like dirt. Until one day, my dad's business nemesis showed up at our door with his daughter. He presented a marriage agreement. I gazed at the finely made-up person across from me. The jewel-bedecked fiancée was stunned. That face was none other than my girlfriend, who shared instant noodles with me daily. She recognized me as well. My lips twitched. We vowed to be broke together for life. But you've secretly turned into a rich kid. Gee, do we really need to go there? My childhood buddy Zhou Kai looked at me for the umpteenth time, effortlessly. He brewed a bowl of old-school pickled vegetable noodles with boiling water. His face displayed a heartbroken look. This is already your 15th cup of instant noodles this month. I'm worried Lu Ruyan hasn't fallen for you yet. Your poverty is a food paradise. Or I see you. I just brushed him off. He stirred the steaming noodles with a plastic fork in the rising steam. A cheap yet enticing aroma quickly wafted through the tiny rental space of under 30 square meters. A cheap yet enticing aroma quickly wafted through the tiny rental space of under 30 square meters. This is the empire I've built for love. 2 years back, I had a love-at-first-sight moment with Lu Ruyan at an art show. She wore a cotton dress that had faded over time. She stood silently in front of a Van Gogh Starry Night painting. She was as fresh as a spring breeze. I made all sorts of changes to win her over. The outcome was utterly disappointing. Lu Ruyan is a woman who likes men. I only have one requirement when it comes to selecting a partner. I'm not a fan of wealthy individuals, especially those like me, born and raised in Rome, coming from a rich family that has the means to print money. In his eyes, rich second-generation people are just greasy. They are extravagant, lack education, and have a chaotic personal life. Every label hit a nerve with me. Thus, in the name of my pure love, I, the sole heir of the Zhuang Group, I hastily created a tragic backstory for myself overnight. My family went bankrupt, and I lost both my parents. Burdened with massive debt, I rely on a small scholarship and 3 part-time jobs, just scraping by as a struggling urban underdog. Believe it or not, this character setup actually works. Lu Ruyan was soon touched by my unwavering determination. She ended up being my girlfriend. To keep up the act, I moved out of the big apartment. I ended up in this old, shabby place. I switched from a Lamborghini to riding a shared bike every day. I don't spend more than 2 digits at most. Whenever Zhou Kai visits me, it feels like he's on a mission to inspect impoverished regions. His eyes are brimming with tears, as if he's about to donate to me. You just don't get me. He slurped a mouthful of noodles. He mumbled something unclear. This is what you call honing oneself for love. Just wait until I finally achieve my dream with the stars. All this effort has been worth it. Zhou Kai rolled his eyes in exasperation. Let me ask you, you two have been together for 2 years now. Are you planning to live your life pretending to be broke? What are we going to do about marriage in the future? Do you think your dad would approve of us having a banquet under the overpass? You really hit the nail on the head with that question. This is something that's been bothering me lately. My relationship with Lu Ruyan is getting stronger. We've even begun talking about our future. I'm worried that my true identity might be revealed one day. He might believe that I've been dishonest with her. Then he would just send me back to my money empire. So at dinner, we were crammed onto a balcony that was less than 5 square meters. Enjoying the crayfish I splurged on with the 50 yuan I made from my side job today. Enjoying the crayfish I splurged on with the 50 yuan I made from my side job today. At that moment, I decided to take a chance and see how the stars would respond. I carefully peeled a shrimp and offered it to him, carefully choosing my words. How about we play a game? Suppose I said, what if one day, you wake up one day and discover that I'm not really broke, but rather plotting revenge? What would you do then? Lu Ruyan is carefully curling up inside the shrimp shell. Hearing this, his movements paused. She lifted her head, her eyes always clear and transparent. At this moment, under the dim light, the emotions are unclear. My heart instantly jumped to my throat. Does he think I'm being unrealistic and talking nonsense? I still think I'm a vain person, beginning to yearn for a life of wealth that doesn't belong to me. I was just about to make a joke. Let's brush this topic aside. Lu Ruyan suddenly reached out her hand. He gave my shoulder a firm pat. He let out a sigh. His tone was full of pity for the unfortunate and a sense of love for the indignant. Zhuangqi, I know the landlord has been pushing for rent again lately, and it's putting a lot of pressure on you. But we can't keep daydreaming. He grabbed the biggest crayfish and put it in front of me. His eyes were filled with sincerity. Don't worry, I don't care if you're poor. Even if you live like this for the rest of your life. I'm happy to keep you company while you enjoy some instant noodles. Don't overthink it. Quick, eat up, or the shrimp will get cold. I looked at the big red shrimp in the bowl. I feel a mix of emotions. Part of it is gratitude. The other part is guilt. I'm moved by her unwavering support. The guilt stems from my huge lie. At that moment, my phone rang at the worst possible time. The words "Father Emperor" flash on the screen, making my hand shake. I nearly dropped my phone into the crayfish sauce. I hid my phone as if I were a thief. I hurried into the only soundproof bathroom. So you still remember that I'm your dad. On the other end of the line, my dad is shouting at the top of his lungs. It nearly burst through the receiver. Zhuangqi, have you grown some wings? You've been hiding away for 2 years without coming home. Are you planning to cut off our father-son relationship? Are you planning to inherit that shabby rental flat? I pulled my phone a bit farther away. I rubbed my ears and said, Dad, could you lower your voice a bit? The gorilla is out there. I don't care whether it's a gorilla or a monkey. Listen up. The Shanga Group's annual charity gala is in 2 days. You absolutely have to come back and attend. I've had Secretary Wang drop off the invitation at your little doghouse downstairs. If you don't show up, I'll smash all your junky shared bikes. Don't push me, or I'll lose my patience. That's public property. I'm not responsible for it. Anyway, you have to be there. The young lady from the upper class will also be there. You both should meet up and have a nice chat. If you can win him over. Our family's European market for the next quarter will be stable. Dad, I've got a girlfriend now. That poor student and I broke up. We don't support idle people in our family. She's not just some idle person. My dad didn't even let me explain myself. He just hung up the phone on me. I was slumped against the bathroom door, feeling defeated. I felt like I had a million things on my mind. On one hand, there's my girlfriend who hates the rich. On the other hand, there's my grumpy dad. I feel like I'm stuck in the middle like a sandwich cookie. I feel like I'm about to be crushed. I stepped out of the bathroom. Lu Rian is putting away the dishes, her apron tied around her waist. She's wearing an apron with a Winnie the Pooh design. We spent 10 yuan on it while strolling through the night market. Wearing it now brings an indescribable sense of warmth. Whose phone is ringing so mysteriously? She asked in a casual tone. My distant uncle is urging me to go to his son's wedding the day after tomorrow. I lied without showing any emotion. Then you should just go. It's a great opportunity to share in the happiness. Lu Rian placed the dishes into the sink. She skillfully squeezed some dish soap. Is the money in the red envelope enough? If it's not enough, I have some more here. I watched him carefully pull out a few crumpled bills from his wallet. Crumpled 100 yuan bills. I felt a pang in my heart again. That was the living expenses I advanced to him last month for next month. That's enough. Enough. I quickly handed the money back. I have some left. You can keep it to buy a few new clothes. Your cotton dress has started to pill. Yet Lu Ruyin cherished the money as if it were a treasure. She shot me a glare. What do you know? This is called vintage style. Moreover, money should be spent where it matters. I'm still a bit short for my tuition next semester, so I fell silent. I had actually paid his tuition long ago, with the money I secretly made from trading stocks, under the guise of special financial aid for low-income students. 2 days later, I still couldn't get over him. I hopped into the Rolls-Royce that was sent to pick me up. As the car pulled up to my shabby apartment building, it caught the eye of quite a few neighbors. I had on a hat and mask, sneaking into the car like a burglar, fearing that some neighbor who knew Lu Ruyin might spot me. Secretary Wang was in the passenger seat, glancing at me in the rearview mirror, seeming hesitant to say anything. Uncle Wang, if you have something to say, just go ahead. I sank into the plush leather seat. I feel like I've come back to life. Secretary Wang sighed. Xiaoqi, he said. The chairman is looking out for you. Miss Lu from Shanga Group is truly a socialite. She's beautiful and highly capable. She's a good match for you. I cut him off. Uncle Wang, when did you become so snobbish like my dad? I love someone who adores the stars. It's not even his money to worry about. Secretary Wang stayed silent. He let out another sigh. An hour later, the car arrived at a location. At the entrance of a high-end private styling salon, several stylists pushed me into a chair. After a painful makeover session, finally transformed from a spirited young man from the suburban area. back to a refined and classy young man from a wealthy family. Looking in the mirror at the man in the tailored suit, with hair styled to perfection, a man emanating an aura of luxury. I'm feeling a bit out of it. This is who I truly am. I'm done with instant noodles for good. The dinner takes place in a one-star hotel's rooftop banquet hall. The atmosphere is buzzing with well-dressed guests and toasting glasses. You can smell the money in the air. My dad leads me through the crowd. He keeps saying hello to all sorts of business moguls. His smile shines brighter than her new gold tooth. I keep a polite smile throughout. Yet in my mind, I'm wildly criticizing the hypocrisy and dullness. A bunch of capitalists disguised as humans. Eating grilled skewers with the stars at the night market is still a lot more fun. The sun cheered up. My dad gave me a nudge with his elbow. Director Liu from Shanga and his daughter approached. I took a deep breath. I donned the most typical business fake smile. I turned around, and my smile became stiff on my face. The chairman of Shanga Group was not far away. A middle-aged man sporting a Mediterranean hairstyle is accompanied by a girl dressed in a champagne-colored evening gown. Coming our way, the girl is slender and has delicate makeup, with a diamond necklace adorning her neck that glitters in the light, dazzling my eyes. She is linking arms with her father, wearing a polite smile. She exudes the air of a socialite. But that face, oh that face. Even if I turned to dust, I'd still know who you are. Isn't that my girlfriend who shares instant noodles with me every day and says she doesn't care that I'm broke? The one who won't even buy a new outfit, Lu Ruian. I felt like a thunderbolt hit me from above. It left me feeling fried to a crisp on the outside and soft inside. My old man beside me was still excitedly introducing me. Son, look quickly. This is the daughter of the Shanga family. What do you think of Miss Lu Ruian? She's beautiful, right? She is really quite pretty. I almost had a heart attack right then and there, looking at such beauty. Lu Ruian caught sight of me too. The moment our eyes locked in the air, I could clearly see the perfection on her face. The smile, honed by strict socialite training, cracked. Without realizing it, her hand holding her father tightened. Meanwhile, I kept that business fake smile on. I felt like my facial muscles had completely turned to stone. Mr. Zhuang, it's been a while. Your charm hasn't faded at all. Lu Ruian's dad is Director Liu of Shanga Group. He's already come right up to us. He greeted my dad with a warm handshake. My dad had a huge smile on his face. You're too kind, Mr. Liu. Let me introduce you. This is my son, Zhuang Qi. He turned back to me. Zhuang Qi, hurry up and call him Uncle Liu. I turned my head stiffly. I managed a smile that looked worse than crying. Hello, Uncle Liu. Yes, yes. So this is the decoration, huh? As expected, he's really impressive. Like father, like son. Mr. Liu gave my shoulder a friendly pat, looking quite impressed. Then he nudged his daughter forward. Lu Ruian. This is the decoration I often talk about. You youngsters should get to know Lu Ruian. She took a small step forward. The scent of her perfume wafted over. Not that I'm used to it. He has a faint scent of laundry detergent about him. It's a sophisticated scent with a refreshing woody fragrance. I bet this tiny bottle could buy the rights to use my rented room for a year. She extended her hand towards me. She had a delicate French manicure. It was adorned with tiny rhinestones. I recalled that he was upset just a few days ago about his nails that he accidentally split. He mentioned wanting to hit the nail salon downstairs for just $10 a session. I extended my hand and gently shook his, which felt quite precious. The touch was cold, unlike the warmth I usually felt when holding her hand. Hi, Miss Liu. I spoke in a very calm voice. But I knew that inside, my heart was shaking like an earthquake of magnitude 8. Neither set of parents seemed to notice the awkwardness of our first meeting. Neither set of parents seemed to notice the awkwardness of our first meeting. They were still cheerfully exchanging enthusiastic compliments. Old Zhuang, your son is truly impressive, steady and graceful. Or your daughter is exceptional. Her aura is perfectly on point. We stood there, locked in each other's gaze. Not a word was uttered by either of us. It felt like the noise around us faded into the distance as I gazed at her. In that moment, her gorgeous eyes were filled with shock and a hint of panic. And there was a trace of unexplainable guilt that puzzled me. After what felt like an eternity, he finally parted his lips. In a voice only meant for us to hear, he managed to squeeze out a few words through clenched teeth. I came here for a low-key work-study arrangement. I shot back almost instantly while carrying the tray. His voice was also kept very low. Even the underprivileged students are getting a taste of upper-class life. Is this a tour organized by the school? Lu Ruiyan's face went pale, then turned green, and then white again. It was as vibrant as a color palette. We were just hurting each other this way. We were stabbing each other's hearts with the most hurtful words. Didn't you say your parents died in a car crash? Didn't you say your family went broke? Are you burdened with 30 million in foreign debt? Zhuangqi, that Armani you're wearing is from Pinduoduo. Come on, Lu Ruyan, that Van Cleef Arpels necklace you're wearing. I got it wholesale from the small commodity market in Yuwu. We both went quiet at the same time. Because we both understood deep down. Everything about each other is genuine. It's the real Armani. It's the real Van Cleef Arpels. A true heir to a wealthy family. The only fakes here are the two of us actors. Two leading men and one leading lady. We've both been tricking each other quite badly. Right when things were getting super awkward. Finally, my dad's talk with director Lou wrapped up. Okay, you youngsters carry on. We old-timers won't get in your way. Dad shot me a look that meant, you better make me proud. He dragged director Lou away to shake hands with someone else. Suddenly, a bubble formed around us. I gazed at Lu Ruyan. She was also gazing at me. So I found it hard to say anything. Is this what you meant when you said you'd stick with me through a lifetime of instant noodles? Lu Ruyan inhaled deeply. It seemed like she was trying to build up her confidence. She tilted her chin up and forced a standard fake smile, asking, what about you? Is this the daydream you were talking about, where you wondered what would happen if I sought revenge? I was left speechless by her words. Yeah, what right do I have to judge her? We're both just as bad as each other. Neither of us can afford to judge the other. We're all just a bunch of liars. The mood went dead once more, just when I thought we'd be stuck in this awkwardness until the dinner was over. Lu Ruyan suddenly stepped closer to me. He lowered his voice, his tone dripping with annoyance. Zhuangqi, just you wait. This isn't over between us. With that, she turned, lifted her skirt, and strutted away in her 7 centimeters heels. With elegance, she made her way to the dessert section without a backward glance. As she picked up a plate of macarons, she munched on them with such a carefree attitude. It felt like the one who just made those tough remarks was someone else entirely. I stood still, gazing at her elegant figure. There was only one thought in my mind. It's done for. I've truly botched this. My love hasn't even had to withstand the test of wealth disparity, and it has met its end on the road of deception. I drifted through the rest of the evening in a fog. Lu Ruyan truly delivered on her promise. He hasn't even spared me a glance since then. He flits between the elite like a true butterfly. He carries himself with elegance and speaks appropriately. He flawlessly embodies the role of a top-tier wealthy beauty. My dad is really unhappy with how I performed tonight. On the way back, he kept lecturing me. He wanted you to spend more time talking with Miss Lu. What's the matter with you? You barely said a few words. Then you just stood there like a wooden stump. You brought shame to the entire Zhuang family. I leaned on the car window, watching the neon lights blur past. I couldn't take in a single word. I kept replaying the conversation I had with Lu Ruyan at the party in my head. We're all just fakes. Once back in my cramped place, I collapsed onto the bed. For the first time, this tiny rental felt so suffocating. My phone buzzed. It was a WeChat message from Lu Ruyan. It was short and sweet, just 2 words, rooftop. I jumped out of bed like a carp springing up. I quickly put on my favorite popular t-shirt from Pinduoduo and my old, faded jeans. She dashed out in her flip-flops. On the rooftop, Lu Ruyan had already praised her. She changed back into what we usually wear on dates. A plain white t-shirt. A pair of denim jeans. She wore a pair of canvas shoes that were so faded they were hard to identify. The evening breeze lifted her unsteeled long hair. She stood there in silence. Her silhouette seemed somewhat fragile. I approached and stood next to her. I started, "Go on, what happened?" Lu Ruyan averted her gaze from me. Instead, she gazed at the lights of the distant city. Her voice was gentle as she said, "You go first." Okay, I'll start. Let me share my journey over the past 2 years. Starting from how I fell for her at first sight, to how I painstakingly learned about her likes. Next comes how I completely changed myself for her. I pretended to be just a broke guy. I've laid it all out. Honestly, I find it a little ridiculous myself by the end. So it wasn't my intention to trick you. Let me give my final summary. I just really like you a lot. Once I said that, I anxiously glanced at her. I waited for her verdict. Lu Ruyan fell silent for quite a while. I thought he was going to say, "We should break up," but he suddenly burst out laughing. "Zhuangqi, are you stupid?" I was taken aback, and he turned his head. His eyes sparkled in the moonlight, with that familiar smile in them. "Do you think you're the only one playing a role?" My brain froze for 3 seconds. What does tin mean? It means Lu Ruyan poked my chest with her finger. "I'm a liar just like you are." Now it was his turn to confess his crimes. It turns out that Lu Ruyan had long grown tired of those around her. Due to her family background, she was surrounded by all sorts of admirers. He yearned for a genuine relationship free from any ulterior motives. So he created a backstory for himself, a tale of rising from a humble background through hard work. And after meeting me, someone similar, he believed it wholeheartedly. "I recall the first time I saw you at the art show. He remembered you were wearing a shirt that seemed quite pricey, sporting a Patek Philippe watch on your wrist. I thought to myself back then, just another spoiled rich kid." It turned out to be our first encounter. My impression of him was really poor. "So when you came to see me the second time, you were wearing some street vendor clothes. You even claimed to be a part-time college student handing out flyers around here." Lu Ruyan was shaking with laughter. At that moment, I found this person quite amusing. To flirt with girls, he even resorted to role-playing. "Okay, if you want to act, I'll go along with you." I was completely taken aback. So I initially believed that my seemingly perfect disguise was foolproof. To him, it was nothing but a joke. No, I realized where I was blind. If you knew all along that I was acting, then why did you still join me for instant noodles and stay in a rental? Lu Ruyan's smile dimmed slightly. She gazed at me earnestly and began to speak. "Because I realized that even though you were acting poor, your kindness towards me is genuine. You always remembered my menstrual cycle and prepared brown sugar water for me ahead of time. You will do it for a stray cat that I like. Ran all over half the city to find it a home. You would want to see the sea just because I casually mentioned it. Staying up late to make strategies. Take me to ride the cheapest green train to watch the sunrise." He paused for a moment. "These have nothing to do with money." My heart was struck hard by his words. It turns out she understood everything when I didn't know. So I cautiously asked if this means we're even now. Lu Ruyan quickly reverted to her haughty attitude. She huffed and retorted, "You tricked me first. That adds to your punishment. I'll penalize you." He shifted his gaze. Out of the blue, he wrapped his arm around my neck. He whispered in my ear, his breath as gentle as orchids. "I'm punishing you by making you take me tomorrow to drive those cars at your place that have collected dust." I'm still reeling from this huge twist. I unconsciously asked, "Which one?" Lu Ruyan narrowed her eyes, flashing a sly grin. In that instant, a thought suddenly crossed my mind. To hell with the pure love warriors. Right now, all I want is to be his tyrant. It was our first date after we officially came clean. We decided to meet at my garage. When Lu Ruyan laid eyes on the row of 2 sports cars, her eyes widened in amazement. "Zhuangqi, be honest, does your family own a money printing factory?" He ran his hand along the flashy blue body of a Bugatti Veyron. "Wow, that's pretty amazing, right?" I passed him a Lamborghini key. "Choose whichever car you like." Lu Ruyan took the key and tossed it playfully in her hand. Then she suddenly leaned over and gave me a kiss on the cheek, "Just for you." I couldn't help but smile as I touched my face. Such generosity, it's all about being open and honest. She got in the driver's seat after opening the car door. "Come on, I'll take you for a spin, sis." But it was just like I imagined, a stunning car and a beautiful girl speeding through the skies. The romantic scene I hoped for never showed up. We were cruising in a Lamborghini worth $500 million. Eventually, we parked in front of a roadside spicy hot pot place. It's not that I'm staring at this lively little shop and feeling a bit overwhelmed. So, we decided to eat here. Lu Ruyan unfastened her seatbelt and casually asked, "What's next? Are we really going to eat at those overpriced and awful Michelin places?" Trust me, I've been wanting to try the spicy hot pot from this place for ages. So, pedestrians could see this bizarre scene. Next to a flashy blue Lamborghini, a stunning couple is seated on plastic stools. One of them is holding a steaming bowl of spicy hot pot. They're eating so much that they're breaking a sweat. Lu Ruyan took a sip of the soup and sighed with satisfaction. This is what life is all about. I noticed her lips turning red from the spice. I burst out laughing. It feels like, aside from upgrading our ride, everything else remains the same. After we finished the spicy hot pot, we hopped in the car. strolling aimlessly along the riverside. I asked him what his plans were next. What plans do you have? Lu Ruyin lowered the car window. The evening breeze tousled her hair a little. I guess our relationship can now be seen as a marriage of convenience. My dad is still hoping you can help him break into the European market. Hearing this, Lu Ruyin suddenly hit the brakes. She stopped the car at the side of the road. He turned to me with a serious look on his face. Zhuangqi, let me ask you this. Are you with me because you genuinely like me? Or is it because I'm the daughter of Shang Group? I felt my heart skip a beat. Here comes the life-changing question. I cleared my throat and straightened my back. I wore an expression more serious than ever before. Lu Ruyin, I swear that before I knew your true identity, I was already head over heels for you. The daughter of Shanga Group. This just adds a touch of sweetness to my feelings. Lu Ruyin kept her gaze on me for a good 10 seconds. Then, out of the blue, she smiled. It was that kind of heartfelt smile. If you drop all your pretenses, that smile is your pass. He turned the car back on. But marrying into a rich family is probably not that straightforward. My heart tightened. What's wrong? Do you know? Lu Ruyin gazed at the road ahead. The tone is somewhat complicated. Our Lu family and your Zhuang family are sworn rivals in the business world. My arch nemesis, I was stunned. The plot is getting more and more cliched. That's right, Lu Ruyin nodded slightly. Especially in the field of new energy. My dad and your dad are competing for the project. Almost got into a fight at the bidding meeting. If you go back now and tell your dad, if his future daughter-in-law is me, I bet he'll just throw you off the 20th floor. Is it really that thrilling? So Lu Ruyin shot me a glance. We should take our time and plan this carefully. We're mainly focusing on undercover work. From here on, we began our days. We lived a covert double-agent life. In front of our parents, we're all about family interests. We're trying to connect with our business partners. My dad keeps pushing me every day. Son, did you make an appointment with Miss Lu today? What's the progress? Lu Ruyin's dad is also dropping hints. Star, I think that guy from the car dealer is not bad. You guys should chat more. It's good for the company. We can only manage it superficially. Behind the scenes, we moved the date from the street vendor to a more hidden private cinema and an exclusive members-only restaurant. One time, we were having dinner at a newly opened Japanese restaurant. So, when I looked up, I found my dad and director Lu. They came out of the private room, flanked by a few clients. We were both scared to death. Lu Ruyin acted decisively. She snatched the mustard from the table and aimed it at my eyes. What are you doing? It hurts so much that I'm crying. Stay still, he whispered, playing his part. As my dad and the others came closer, what they saw was this picture. Lu Ruyin gave me a disdainful look. I buried my face in my hands, tears streaming down my cheeks like a rain-soaked flower. Zhuangqi, I've already told you, I'm not interested in you. Stop pestering me already. Lu Ruyin's acting skills are impressive and come effortlessly. There was a palpable impatience in his tone. My dad and director Lu were both taken aback. All I could do was choke back my tears. Miss Lu, I just really like you a lot. Please, just give me one chance. My dad's face went pale. He came rushing in and yanked me away. He was constantly apologizing to Director Lu. I apologized, Director Lu, my son was out of line. I'll take her away right now. Director Lu awkwardly looked at his daughter being harassed. That day, my dad dragged me back home. I got a serious lecture. Zhuangqi, can't you be a bit more ambitious? Is this really how you chase girls? Are you acting like the male lead in some soap opera with your clinginess? You've totally humiliated our family. I bowed my head, pretending to be remorseful. Yet deep down, I was about to burst out laughing. Meanwhile, Lu Ruyin was also struggling. His dad feels he's being too hard on me. He messed up a perfect match. He gave him a good talking to. That night, we were lying in my big flat. We shared our thoughts on the aftermath while doing our unmasks. Those 2 tears you shed today really seemed heartfelt. Lu Ruyin gave my face a poke. Come on, that's actual mustard. You almost made me leave, I said with annoyance. She chuckled happily. Then she flipped over and sprawled on top of me. She rested her chin on my chest, pretending to be a pool. You say this isn't a solution, so what do we do? I held her waist tightly. We can't actually break up, right? Definitely not. Lu Ruyin quickly shot back. What I mean is we need to think of a solution. Let them willingly accept us. I gazed into his sparkling eyes. Suddenly, a bold idea popped into my head. What do you think? since they want us to get married to boost business cooperation. What if we take the initiative to collaborate on a project ourselves and present it to them? How would they react? Lu Rian's eyes lit up even more. What you mean is instead of letting them play matchmaker, how about we take matters into our own hands? I rolled over and pinned him down. I smirked and showed them what I had. We're not just 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. Instead, we can build a new business empire and make it happen. We are both doers. I tapped into the startup fund my dad set up for me. He always believed I was putting it into something. I lost everything on those chaotic internet projects. Lu Rian also pulled out his own little stash. We made some calculations. We've decided to dive into the hottest area of AI right now. We set up a new tech company. It's called Starry Technology. In a nutshell, it's a blend of our names, so that my family won't find out. The company's legal representative is my childhood buddy, Zhou Kai. Zhou Kai stared at the long string in the bank account. Everyone was shaking in unison. Sister Qi Guxing, are you trying to drive me crazy? If my dad knows about this, he would think I've embezzled funds, and I'd get my legs broken. I gave him a pat on the shoulder. Don't worry, if I take a loss, it's on me, and you'll have your share of the profits. The early days of the company were incredibly tough. Lu Ruyin and I basically lived at the company. During the day, we were the glamorous heirs, juggling various family matters and business engagements. At night, we became struggling entrepreneurs again, staying up until dawn in front of a pile of data and code. The place where we met during that time. The restaurant cinema has been transformed into a conference room. The topic of discussion is also about what to eat today. Is there still room for optimization in this algorithm model? Once, we faced a technical challenge. The meeting room was in an uproar. Zhuang, your idea is too conservative. There is no breakthrough at all. Lu Ruyan slammed a planning proposal on the table. Lu Ruyan, that's just pure wishful thinking. Right now, we need stability, not risk, and I'm pretty fired up too. Neither of us is willing to give in. Ultimately, we ended up parting ways unhappily. That was our first true Cold War since we got together. We went for 3 whole days without speaking to each other. The atmosphere at the company hit rock bottom as well. Every employee was on edge, worried that one wrong move could set off the two of us, like a couple of powder kegs. By the 4th day, I just couldn't take it anymore. I dashed into Lu Rian's office. Without a word, I hoisted her off the chair. I tossed her straight into the break room in my office. What are you doing? Let me go? She fought against me on my shoulder. I tossed her onto the bed. Then I pinned my whole body down on her. I held her hands and feet tightly. Lu Rian, I don't want to fight with you. I watched her face turn red with anger. She spoke with a slightly hoarse voice. She's still fighting. Let me go. You oppressive bastard won't let me go. I bent down and passionately kissed her lips. He initially resisted. He bit me. I pushed through the pain and deepened the kiss. Slowly, her struggle faded. Her body relaxed, and the kiss came to an end. We were both out of breath. I leaned my forehead against his. I gazed into her eyes, shimmering with tears. His voice softened. Stars, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have snapped at you. Lu Ruyan remained silent. She just tucked her face into my neck. After a long pause, I finally heard his muffled voice. I have my shortcomings too. I realized my stubbornness and smiled. I embraced her tightly. We're allies, not foes. From now on, let's discuss any issues thoroughly. Can we agree to stop arguing? She gave a slight nod while in my embrace. Strangely enough, after that fight, our relationship got even better. We figured out how to communicate and work together more effectively. Through the ups and downs, our company gradually found its footing. At that moment, a new crisis quietly approached. It felt like both my dad and Lu Do sensed something simultaneously. They started sending people to look into our recent cash flow. The truth is about to come out. One evening, Lu Rian was staring at her computer. Secretary Wang sent a friendly reminder with a furrowed brow. I was also feeling a bit down. I knew it was almost time to come clean. Lu Ruyan and I decided that instead of waiting to be outed, we might as well take the initiative. The place we chose to come clean was the annual Qingyun Venture Capital Summit. This summit is the highlight of the domestic venture capital scene. Almost all business leaders will be in attendance. Of course, that includes my dad and Chairman Lu. My company, Xingqi Technology, was co-founded by Lu Ruyan and me. As a dark horse that has emerged this year, we also received an invitation from the organizer, and we have a 10-minute roadshow opportunity. On the day of the summit, we both dressed up specially. I wore a suit that best highlighted my business elite temperament. Lu Ruyin chose a smart white suit dress. With her long hair styled, she exuded confidence. As we stepped into the venue, it caught everyone's eye instantly. I sensed two pairs of eyes from the audience that felt like they could burn holes right through us. It was my dad and director Lu. They were right in the front row, each looking more displeased than the last. We shared a look, and in each other's eyes, we saw the resolve to go all out. Then we stepped onto the stage together. Hello, everyone, distinguished guests and seniors. I took the microphone, my voice calm and strong. I'm Zhuang Qi, and this is Lu Ruyin. Lu Ruyin stands beside me, side by side. The audience instantly burst into chatter. Today, we want to introduce to you our child. In the next 10 minutes, we will work in perfect harmony to present our company's philosophy, technology, and future development plans, clearly laid out for everyone. We didn't use any fancy words. We tell our dreams through the most genuine data and the most meticulous logic, sharing our dreams. When the roadshow concluded, there was a brief silence in the audience. Then, thunderous applause erupted. I noticed many investors with intrigued expressions. Dad and director Lu looked shocked and incredulous. They likely never imagined that their two kids, who only knew about love and fun, could make such a big splash right under their noses. After the summit, my dad and director Lu stood on either side of us. We stepped into a VIP lounge. Once the door shut, my dad's shouting erupted. This is absolute nonsense. Zhuang Qi, do you even consider me your dad anymore? Mr. Lu didn't look too pleased either. Why didn't you talk to the family about such a big issue? I shared a look with Lu Ruyin. Then we stood up straight and bowed, saying, Dad, I'm sorry. Dad, we admit we were wrong. We had a good attitude about admitting our mistakes. It definitely calmed down my dad and director Lu's tempers by half. Dad, I looked up at him earnestly. I'm serious about my relationship with Xingxing. It's not just about our romantic relationship. We're also serious about our careers. We understand that our families are rivals. Lu Ruyin also chimed in. However, we want to demonstrate that cooperation will always create more value than conflict. Xingxi technology is our answer. I pulled a document from my briefcase and passed it to him. This is our most recent financing plan. We've had interest from at least 10 top VC firms wanting to invest in us. This includes your two biggest overseas competitors. Both my dad and director Lu suddenly looked serious. They grabbed the plan and quickly flipped through it. The more they read, the graver their expressions became. I stood there nervously with Lu Ruyin, waiting for the final decision. After what felt like forever, my dad finally set the plan down. He let out a deep sigh. He glanced at Lu Do, his expression a mix of emotions. Old Lu seems to believe we've underestimated these two kids. Director Lu nodded in agreement. For the first time, his gaze held real appreciation as he looked at us. What do you need us to do? He asked me, and Lu Ruyin and I shared a smile. We realized that we had won this gamble. The latest round of financing for Xingxi Technology was ultimately led by the Zhuang Group. The Monastery Pavilion Group joined as a co-lead investor. This news sent shockwaves through the entire business community. It's common knowledge that the Zhuang and Lu families have been at odds for years. I never thought that it would be the younger generation that would bring about a handshake and reconciliation in the end. As a result, Lu Ruyin and I gained fame from just one battle. The media made a big deal out of our story. We are like the modern-day Romeo and Juliet. The difference is that we didn't have a tragic ending. Instead, we teamed up to create a business legend. The partnership between the two companies turned out to be much smoother than we imagined. My dad and director Lu, these two old men who have been at odds their whole lives. After witnessing the massive benefits that came from the partnership, their bond quickly grew stronger. These days, they get together all the time to drink tea and go fishing. Their conversations shifted from plotting how to take each other down to planning when to have grandkids. Exactly, nagging about marriage has become their new favorite pastime. Son, when are you and Xingxing planning to tie the knot? Your uncle Lu and I have already talked it over. We thought the bride price could be 10% of our family's profits from last year. How does that sound? Xingxing, I've already spoken to your uncle Zhuang. You mustn't let yourself be wronged after you marry into the family. The dowry will be 5% of our company's stake. Do you think that's sufficient? Whenever Lu Ruyin and I hear this, We feel a bit overwhelmed. I can't shake the feeling that we've fallen into another trap. One time, Lu Ruyin couldn't hold back her complaints. I wrapped my arms around her and playfully pinched her nose. This is what we call a sweet burden. Even though we complain out loud, deep down, we both know that all of this is the happiness we desire. Our careers are flourishing. Starry Tech rapidly turned into a unicorn in the AI industry. And our relationship has gone through this as well. After going through this series of melodramatic twists and turns, our relationship has grown even stronger. The day I proposed to Lu Ruyin, I didn't plan any grand ceremony. I simply took her back to the art exhibit where we first met. The exhibit still featured Van Gogh's Starry Night. I took her hand and walked up to that painting. I pulled out a velvet box from my pocket and knelt down on one knee. Miss Lu Ruyin. I opened the box. Inside, there was a sparkling diamond ring. It was 2 years ago that I fell in love with you at first sight here. Back then, I thought I was in love with your simplicity and modesty. Later, I came to understand that it was you as a person that I loved. It's how you still sparkle even when wearing a cotton dress. It's how you happily eat instant noodles with me. It's how you sneakily wipe your tears when we fight. It's how you stand by me and fight together with me. I've deceived you, and you've deceived me. We've both pretended to be someone else for love. But now I want to be Chi with my true self. I ask you to marry me. Let me spend my whole life making up for my original lie, okay? Lu Ruyin's eyes were brimming with tears. He didn't respond right away. Instead, he took a sniff. His voice was choked with emotion as he spoke. Zhuangqi, did you get this wedding proposal script from AI? That's so cringy. I was taken aback for a moment. I was left both laughing and crying at the same time. What time is it now? He's still caught up on this. I wrote it by hand and rewrote it 800 times. I gave an honest answer. Lu Ruyin couldn't help but laugh. But her tears flowed even more abundantly. She extended her hand towards me. Since you're being so sincere, I guess I'll reluctantly give in. I eagerly slipped the ring onto her ring finger. Then I rose with joy. I held her closely. I love you, Lu Ruyin. I knew she whispered softly in my embrace. I love you too, Zhuangqi. Our wedding was celebrated as the wedding of the century. The union of our two families gathered almost half of the business celebrities. The luxury of the wedding has become a hot topic among all the media. But what impressed both of us the most was, but it is not those expensive champagne and extravagant gifts. But after the wedding, we secretly slipped back to the rental apartment where we used to live. Everything in the room remains the same. I reached under the bed and pulled out the last one. Bucket edition of Old Pot sauerkraut noodles. Are you hungry, my wife? I have something for you below. I winked at Lu Ruyin. Lu Ruyin sat on that squeaky little bed, totally unfazed in her wedding gown that costs a fortune. Lu Ruyin sat on that squeaky little bed, totally unfazed in her wedding gown that costs a fortune. She gave me an eye roll. I retorted, boiling water to soak the noodles. The smell is still cheap, but so familiar. We each had a fork, happily munching on a bucket of instant noodles. Honestly, Lu Ruyin suddenly chimed in. Sometimes I really miss those days when we acted broke. I chuckled, me too. At that time, we had nothing, but it felt like we had the world. However, he suddenly switched topics. He jabbed my arm with a fork. I like the present better. Because right now, she leaned in and planted a kiss on my lips. She took away a bit of soup from my lips. I've not only got you, but I also own your Lamborghini, your black card, and your upscale apartment. This outrageous wealth has finally come my way. I gazed at him with the greedy expression of a petty person. I just couldn't hold back my laughter. I wrapped her tightly in my embrace. The city lights outside the window sparkle like stars. I know that no matter if we are poor or rich, whether we reside in a rental or a mansion, as long as we're together, any place feels like home. Our story started with an absurd scam, but unexpectedly found the truest happiness.